Welcome to the Inappropriate Growth Podcast. Today, we're joined by Suzanna Martinez, the founder and president of PEO for the CEO, a company dedicated to helping businesses scale effectively and save money through the power of professional employer organizations, or PEOs. With over a decade of experience in HR, payroll, benefits, and risk management, Suzanna specializes in guiding companies to streamline their operations and focus on growth. In this episode, we'll discuss the challenges that come with managing a growing business, the benefits of partnering with a PEO, and how Suzanna can help businesses of all sizes achieve their goals. We'll also hear about Suzanna's journey as an entrepreneur and her passion for helping businesses succeed. So sit back and relax and enjoy this conversation with Suzanna Martinez. Sit back and relax, and let's get inappropriate. Welcome. This is the Inappropriate Growth Podcast. I'm Paul Angelle. Today, I'm really excited. I've got Miss Suzanne. Is it Suzanne or Suzanne?
Suzanna.
Suzanna. Okay.
Just think of, oh, Suzanna, don't you cry for me.
Suzanna Martinez. And so I don't mess up and get it wrong. Tell our listeners and our viewers where you are, how you got there, and what do you do?
Okay, well, I am originally from Denver, Colorado, and I just recently moved to Atlanta, Georgia, because I was trying to get away from the snow. And lo and behold, we just had 4 inches the other day, and it is pretty cold. So I feel like I'm back in Denver. But I love Atlanta. It has lots of 4 seasons, but nothing too drastic, not as hot as Florida, and not as cold as Colorado. So I'm happy to be here. What I do is I'm a PEO broker. So what I do is I help companies match them up with an appropriate PEO company. And I'll just start out by explaining what a PEO company is. It stands for Professional Employer Organization Model. And what it does is it pulls several thousands of co-employees together to get buying power on health insurance and workers' comp insurance. It also helps businesses scale and grow their businesses by outsourcing their HR functions, their human resources, their information, human capital, as far as payroll, HR, and benefits onboarding. So many companies that are fast growth model, the top unicorn companies oftentimes will outsource to a PEO company because they know it's going to help them grow and scale their business.
Well, full disclosure, as I was preparing for this call, I had to find out what PEO meant. I wasn't aware. It was a new term for me. Your company, PEO for the CEO, what inspired you to start that?
Well, I've been in the PEO business for like over 18 years, and I was always a W 2 account exec for many different PEO companies. Publicly traded companies, privately held PEO companies. Believe it or not, there's like 600 plus PEO companies out there. And I always wanted to be an independent broker because I felt like not everybody fits in the box when it comes to PEO. And being an independent broker, I'm able to go out to the right markets for my clients and basically find the best solution for them versus being captive with one company and trying to make them fit in the box of that company.
In your opinion, what are the biggest challenges that businesses face when it comes to managing their workforce?
Talent acquisition is the biggest. And what we found during COVID is that they would hire the talent wherever they would find the talent, and oftentimes it wasn't even in their state. So when they're a company that's headquartered in one state and then they start to hire employees in multiple states, there's more compliance and risks associated with that. And also benefits. It's very expensive for employers to offer benefits to attract these employees and retain them. Benefits, health insurance benefits are the second line item on a company's P&L second to their payroll expense. So it's very expensive and they're always looking for cost-effective ways to save money and still be able to offer rich Fortune 500 benefits to their employees.
How can a PEO help businesses save money and streamline their operations other than saving the money on benefits?
Well, oftentimes when you are saving money on the benefits or workers' comp, it offsets the administrative fees that are associated with the PEO company. But the PEO company is going to consolidate several vendors into one single source solution. So it's consolidating payroll, benefits, your workers' comp, HR services, all combined in one single service platform. Typically, it's a really robust HRIS system that helps employers onboard their employees efficiently and offboard their employees efficiently. So that is model is going to help them grow and scale their business versus having to go out to different vendors to have to onboard and offboard their employees.
And partnering with a PEO, because rather than having these separate vendors, what are some of the key benefits that might not be quite so obvious?
A lot of the key benefits is you don't know what you don't know. And oftentimes, when a company is growing and scaling rapidly, they don't know that they're out of compliance in many areas. And by having a PEO company, they have your back. They're going to help you dot your I's, cross your T's, let you know when you're out of compliant and help you make the appropriate decisions. Or if you have maybe a sticky termination or an employee that files a sexual harassment or discrimination lawsuit, you're going to have somebody in your corner, a third party company, to help back you up, to help you dot your I's and cross your T's and keep you hopefully out of paying fines and penalties.
Well, you said you worked as a account executive, so I'm sure you're well versed on the features, advantage, and benefits of. What advice would you give for businesses that might be right now considering using a PEO?
I would definitely not go with the first quote. Don't go with one quote. You want to get several vendors to bid for your services and you want to look at everything. So, what I do is a side by side analysis for my clients. And I'm willing to even give them the spreadsheet for free. But oftentimes, a lot of the internal HR people are like, this is too much work because then you're having to do the side by side of the administrative fees, the benefits, the workers' comp, and look at it all the picture together. But you definitely, I would say, get a quote of like 4 or 5 reputable PEO companies. You typically want to get a company that's certified, that has their certification that's ESAC accredited, that's similar to like a bank having a FDIC insurance policy. Those are several things to look out for. You want to make sure that the company's reliable, has references, and, yeah, don't go with the first quote. There's a lot of great the thing is with PEO companies, there's a lot of great salespeople, and they will sell you very hard the moon and the stars, and then once you get in, it's like, "Oh my gosh, what did I just get myself into?" And so you can't judge a book by the cover because different PEO companies deliver different value of service. So you just wanna make sure that you do your due diligence and pick the right PEO company for you.
18 years is a long time, although I don't think everybody thinks 18 years ago was 2007. I think 18 years ago was in the 90s.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you've seen a lot of changes, probably a lot of changes with that recent pandemic. But what are you seeing right now as the latest trends in the PEO industry?
The latest trend I would say would be AI. And when it comes to underwriting, a lot of the PEO companies, a lot of the insurance carriers are using a lot of the AI features to really help them do their due diligence and underwrite the groups appropriately when it comes to risk and assigning them medical premiums. So, in a sense, it's good because you don't want a company to give honeymoon rates and then all of a sudden next year you have a 20, 30, 40% increase in your benefits. So you want to be rated appropriately to the risk of your group, but at the same time, they are digging under the hood of your employees and really assessing what the risk and the possible claims that they're going to be paying out.
Okay. Well,
Also, I would say during COVID, a lot of people really just put things on the back burner as far as taking care of medical things. So I think it's just been on an upward trend of people really overutilizing their benefits now.
personally, what are your plans for the future of PEO for the CEO?
My plans are really to grow and scale my business, to really hire a team and even possibly purchasing somebody else's book of business that's looking to retire or slowly get out of the business, either another PEO broker or a benefits broker. So, anybody out there, I'm looking to purchase a book.
Well,
Mhm.
I wouldn't even know how to broker brokerages. That seems complicated, but you're looking for a very specific avatar.
Yes, very specific.
Well, now you're not an account executive. You're an actual for real entrepreneur, jumping around the country, uh, trying to buy books of business. What's your favorite thing about being an entrepreneur?
Um, I've always been growth minded. So, being able to dig in and learn business acumen, I guess learning my own P&L statements. And I used to always think of a P&L as up, down, fight, fight, fight. And it's like I'm really in the fight, fight, fight mode. And so everything when it comes to being a business owner, I had no clue actually when it comes to marketing, all the operation stuff, being able to collaborate with other business owners and really find out what best practices they've put into place and learn from others has been, you know, tremendously helpful for me.
All right. Well, people who are thinking about doing what you did and thinking about going out on their own, what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs that maybe
Well,
a mistake you made that they could avoid by listening to you?
Believe it or not, this has actually become a trend. It wasn't very many PEO brokers 18 years ago in the nationally. Maybe a handful of PEO brokers nationally 18 years ago. And during COVID, many people are trying to become PEO brokers like myself. One thing advice I would give is make sure you have capital, make sure you have savings, because it's pretty brutal. It's, 100% commissions. It's either feast or famine. And the PEO companies really keep their account execs handcuffed because they pay them such great base salaries, expense allowances. They really treat their top producers really well. So it's kind of hard to leave that. So be prepared for that. You also might want to look at maybe partnering with another PEO broker like myself or somebody else out there that has already established themselves as far as their marketing, their SEO, their websites, all the operational piece. Because once you start to get into all the operations, it kind of get bogs you down and you can't focus on the sales like you did when you were a W-2 employee for a PEO company.
It's definitely not for everybody.
Mhm.
There's when I would speak to new business owners and I would ask them, why do you want to go out on your own? Oh, I have a friend that owns her own business, and I like that she can take off Fridays and she can have long lunches and she can be in the car line for her kids. I'm like, how long has your friend been in business? And they're like, oh, at least 20 years. Okay. It's not like that on day one.
Exactly. You're probably working harder
Yeah, I would say you're
than
trading
yeah.
40 to 50 hours for really good pay for
Mhm.
maybe double that work for no
Mhm.
guarantee of anything at all, except the fact that for the first year you're going to make significantly less money. Do you still want
Mhm.
to do it? Because I mean, if you're in the long game and like you said, have some savings, have some backing or liquidity or something to support you when it's up and down,
Yeah.
it it's pretty, it's a brutal dose of reality. You've got to have. I don't say you have something wrong with you, but if you don't have that wrong with you, you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
Got to be able to see what it is. Uh,
Yeah.
do you have any recommendations? And I'm talking about like books or movies or any kind of anything that's helped you in your journey.
Gosh, Jim Rohn is always my to-go-to guy whenever I'm kinda and I know a lot of people that I listen to have, always referenced Jim Rohn, but I like to listen to a lot of podcasts. I can't even remember, a lot of the podcasts that I listen to, uh, Mark Hyman, I think he's more in the medical space, more talking about that, but there's some really good, podcasts that are, forward thinkers, business minded, that have great interview I like the ones that have a lot of different diverse backgrounds of different businesses or just, the former CIA or FBI and David Goggins. That's a good one. You Can't Hurt Me, his book. Um, and yeah, I'm just pretty. I like anybody that's just had overcome diverse challenges and business minded or whether it's physical or business, had
Well,
some good growth.
I'm growing more and more concerned with my wife's fascination with podcasts, but they're usually true crime. She's
Oh,
drawn to
oh, I
these
love true
podcasts
crime.
where these
Yes.
women get away with killing their husbands. I'm like,
Wives
why
with
are you so
knives.
fascinated by this?
Because we're plotting and how we're gonna kill our husbands.
Yeah, she sent a meme to me yesterday. She goes, um, "When he thinks you're just lighting a candle, but you're about to sacrifice him." Why are you sending me? Outside of PEOs, I know sometimes this is non-existent, but I'm curious.
Yeah,
Do you have a favorite hobby, or is there something you do that has absolutely nothing to do with your business?
I'm a salsa dancer.
Really?
Yeah, me and my husband are salsa dancers, and it's just a great way to really vent and release. Really wish I played some type of instrument. I feel like I'm really musical, and I really like to sing, except I don't have a voice, but I certainly have a lot of fun doing it. We actually just spent the holidays in Puerto Rico. My husband's there, from there, so it's just a big party during Christmas, and everybody's singing and dancing and playing instruments, and they don't care that I don't know how to sing. They just like the fact that I'm joining them, and I love it. Yeah.
I went one year. My mother took the whole family on a cruise,
Uh-huh.
uh, and it was during the Christmas break, and so we were in Belize on Christmas Day.
Mm.
And so before it, one of my sons was in his class was supposed to talk about Christmas traditions in another country. And they all had to pick a country and what that country did. And so we went on the itinerary on the website to figure out where we were going to be Christmas Day because it was just a bunch of stops in the East Caribbean, and it was Belize. So he researched what they do for Christmas in Belize. And
Mhm.
Belize is kind of a mixture. I mean, there's um, Creoles and mestizos and Aztec. I mean, there's all kind of different people in Belize. But one thing they do across, some of the dishes, there was something called rum popo. I'll never forget the name because I thought it was funny. And everybody on Christmas Day, or not everybody, but it seems like everybody, changes out the linoleum on their floor on Christmas Day. That's a tradition in Belize, which
Oh, wow. That is a
we're
difference.
driving through neighborhoods. You see rolls of linoleum at the street waiting for garbage collection. Everybody got it's a Christmas tradition. You rip up your floor and you put in a new one.
Wow.
And
Talk
it made me
about
think
starting fresh and all over.
how awesome would it be to travel to be able to travel to a different country every year at Christmas and get to like find out, like you said, in Puerto Rico, it's a party all throughout the Christmas season. How many weird things happen like that, like pulling up your floor? That I didn't mean to sidetrack the conversation, but when you said that,
That sounds like
someone else,
work. That don't sound like partying. That sounds like some work.
I had a conversation with someone that had just done it. He looked like he had a good time doing it, but he wasn't all that worried about how good it looked, and he was extremely tipsy. All right, well, everybody has one of these. Do you have a favorite quote?
Oftentimes people don't plan to fail. They just fail to plan. So plan your plan. And this is actually a good time of year to talk about that too, because everybody's looking at their goals and their vision boards and they're planning personally and professionally. So
Well, all that said, let's say somebody that's watching this or listening to this wants to get in touch with you, wants to find out more about PEOs, or wants to ask you a question. What's the best way to contact you?
the best way to contact me would be my website at peofortheceo.com. I'm also very active on LinkedIn, so feel free to message me at Suzanna Martinez at PEO for the CEO.
Awesome. Well, this has been great. I love knowing about. I love when I learn something new. I probably should have known what a PEO was, but now I
No, I mean, you would
know.
be surprised. A lot of people don't know what a PEO is, and those that do know it, it's because at some point they worked with a PEO.
Well, I've learned about the benefits of partnering with a PEO, and I'm all about scaling business efficiently. So this is just one of those ways to better do that. And
Yeah.
obviously, I wish you best in future endeavors. And for you, and for our listeners, and for our viewers, remember, if you're going to grow, chances are you're probably going to have to do something inappropriate.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.